It seems almost like a perfect storm, a pandemic happening right as the country experiences a nationwide call for police reform and social equality.
Well, some experts believe the pandemic actually laid the perfect groundwork for the nationwide protests against racism that we're seeing. One of those experts joins us live this morning for a little more perspective on this. Krystale Littlejohn, a professor of sociology at the University of Oregon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think this is a really interesting topic. What are some of the key ways that the pandemic may have actually helped kind of create the conditions to have the widespread demonstrations that we see?
Absolutely. So I think that one of the striking things for me as a sociologist has been the differences in people's experiences when they're told to stay at home. And so one of the things that I've really been thinking about recently is how folks have been told to stay at home, to stay safe. But for people of color, they're experiencing a very different reality where with the issues with police violence, when they're being told to stay at home, but then you have uh, story after story documenting the challenges that people are facing with violence in their homes that suggests that their homes are not as safe for them as they may be for other people. And I think that's been a key part of it, as well as the 24-hour news cycle. Everybody across social media talks about how they're just inundated with news stories, and I think it makes it harder for people to escape the messages around violence and brutality and the different kind of the disparities as far as inequality goes that people are facing by race, by class across the United States.
And so, I mean, what has been the end result then of all of that, going on, and like what has been the result that we've seen?
Yeah, I think it's been a real heightened awareness. I think it's been a real heightened awareness across racial groups. So we're seeing with the nationwide protests that there are people across racial groups, across age groups, really uniting to take a stand for injustice. And I think that's been a consequence of the news cycles, the heightened awareness that I mentioned, with people just not being able to escape the realities that are showing up for many people for the very first time, right? Where they may have known that or may have heard things, but never been exposed to it directly. And I think with all of the news, all of the video clips, all of folks' testimonies, I think it makes it a lot harder to escape that. And it's created an awareness that has made people really want to act.
Yeah, well, and I think, we had also been starting to talk about some of the ways that Black and brown people are disproportionately affected by COVID-19 in the pandemic, and that all ties into systemic racism in healthcare and health systems. So that conversation was starting to happen when we saw some high-profile deaths like the death of George Floyd. I mean, for lack of a better metaphor, was that kind of the match that really lit the powder keg here?
I think George Floyd's death absolutely helped spark the scale of these protests. I absolutely think that's the case, and I think since his death, there's been growing interest in trying to help eradicate the systemic health issues that you mentioned, that you're referring to, and really trying to get people to understand that violence is a part of public health, right? That these violent incidents negatively affect people's health, and we need to start taking them much more seriously as public health issues.
Yeah. What are some other times in history that something similar to this has happened? Are there other times where there has been something like this?
I think that we are facing quite a unique moment to have a pandemic and protests of this scale. I hope that all of us are really taking this moment in and taking the time to talk with each other and to document this moment in whatever way that we do, with whether journaling, whether just talking with our loved ones, because I don't know when we have ever seen something like this before. I think it's unprecedented, and I think that we will likely never see anything like this again in our lifetime. So I think we should really take heed of this moment, and really just take seriously the gravity of the moment that we're in.
Those conversations a good way to help process kind of what we're all living through. Krystale, so thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your perspective in all this.
Thank you so much for having me. Take
Yeah.
good care.
All right.